afternoon. My name is Scott Rutledge, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead.
观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎您收看最新一期的直击美股栏目，我是贝在宁，现在在纽约向您问好。周二是美股市场从小长假回归的第一个交易日。那么，在美国国内经济数据方面，其实是比较清淡的，因为今天公布的主要经济数据只有一个早上10点的这个5月工厂订单数据，环比是缩减1%，略低于预期。那么，因为这个经济数据是比较清淡，美股市场的这个开盘表现就和隔夜外围市场表现关联性变得更加紧密。可以看到，外围市场尤其是欧亚股市继续因为英国脱欧，再加上意大利银行危机这2点而出现震荡，那么这些不确定因素今天也是波及到了美股市场这边。美国3大股指是低开低走，金融和能源板块今天领跌大盘。另外，我们可以看到10年期和30年期的这个美国国债收益率是跌至历史新低。那么这种走势其实非常不健康，因为这不光表明了市场这个疯狂恐慌性购买，更是暗示着美国经济衰退的这种可能性。因为债券收益率的下跌，说明市场对于中长期的这个通胀率预期也在下跌，那么就表明低利率政策可能会维持更长一段时间。那么与收益率正相反的这个美国主权债券价格却是在继续走高，也是说明在全球股市继续震荡的这么一个大环境下，美国主权债券依然是投资人的一个避风港。好，那么关于美股市场的更多消息，让我们听一下将由我们带来的独家点评。So it looks like the post-Brexit rally faded today. Was it more than a bit of profit taking? Should investors just ride this one out?
I feel like you got to put it in perspective. We had about a 1,000-point rally in the Dow, a 4-day huge move in the S&P cash. So today felt a bit controlled. So I think, no one wanted really the market to go up anymore because it felt like you were chasing it. So digestion is good. And if you look at the chart of the S&P cash, you will see that, we came right back up to this major level we've been fighting with for almost 2 years. Okay, this time though, we came from a very, shallower spot. Back in the start of the year, we went from the lows of January, February of 1800 all the way up here, didn't have enough juice. Here was your Brexit tantrum to come back up. So now I would say at this point, we have a new point of reference today, and as active traders, that's what we look for, where we held these 2 moving averages. So I would say it would be very, very impressive. If we could stay above this 2080 and build a new little flag here, I think the next time we try to take out this spot, we might have a bit more success. But right now, I would say the oscillator went from plus 40 to almost plus 8, maybe a little bit more inside action, and we'll get a better response.
Now, we saw record lows for benchmark 10-year and 30-year Treasury yields. Is this an indicator that worries you?
You have to think about it, but when you have overseas where you have to pay money to park cash and get negative yields around the world, okay, you would think that 1.3% or whatever the U.S. 10-year is giving you sounds better than paying to put your money somewhere, even though bonds aren't truly safe if interest rates go up, et cetera, et cetera. But this move in the TLT has been great. For a lot of guys riding the trend. At this point, I'm not saying fight the trend, but I would not be looking to buy the TLT, this extended from the 8-day. Like any chart that I follow, when it's a gap up that holds and reclaims the 8-day, that's when you get back in. You don't get back involved when it's so extended. But anybody trying to short this thing, he's in a little bit in harm's way. And this also does trade with patterns. Look what happened the last time, took back this move before the topping tail. So at this point, I would have trimmed some and not chase it. But, unless you have a short thesis, guys are getting their clocks clean there.
Now, another sector that did poorly is the financial sector. Banks are under a lot of pressure today. B of A and Goldman Sachs all got a downgrade. Is there anything investors should watch out for?
I think most investors or traders are steering clear of the banks.
Okay,
because they're below all the moving averages. They've been broken. And, I guess if the economy gets a little better, maybe and rates go up, they'll get a little bit of a little love. But for right now, look at Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs, has been in a downtrend. It's been below the 200-day for quite some time. So there have been some trades. It did bounce off the lows, and this is definitely troublesome. When the banks are in a headwind, the market bounces. But when the banks start to falter, like it did today, people get a little worried. And if you want to take a quick look at Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank is a little bit of a problem. Near the historic lows, didn't get much of a bounce in Deutsche Bank, and so did the European banks. And when you see everything you're hearing about in the Italian headlines, it could get you a little worried. So I wouldn't be all in long, but I wouldn't be all short the U.S. equities because something like Deutsche Bank is about to make new lows.
Now, last but not least, let's look at the high beta land. Anything that stood out to you?
Well, the Qs kind of held in where they had to. And, we've been talking about Amazon on this show, how it's been best in breed. And good to see Amazon potentially getting ready to make out all-time highs. So this, I think, which I am long, looks good to take out this spot. If it were to take out 731 with some force, that would show some health. It's above all the moving averages. You know what, Baba has been trading in a tight range for a long time now. Okay, to me, this kind of looks like a cup and handle pattern. What does a cup and handle pattern means? It's an accumulation pattern where funds, mutual funds, whoever, accumulated during a time period. Then you get this tight range. And if Baba delivers this quarter above this spot, you could see a move towards this 95 spot. So maybe you want to buy options out 6 months or trade it. But overall, Baba has been acting pretty well considering how choppy and wide it is.
Great, thank you so much for an analysis today, Scott. And with all the Italian banks and stuff, we'll see what we'll be obsessing over tomorrow.
Yes, I would say if you're going to focus on Italian, focus on Italian food. Don't worry about the Italian banks to take you out of your U.S. stocks.
That's a good one. 感谢大家收看这一期的直击美股栏目，我们下期再见。